everyone, it is finally time. I will be cooking our very first dish from the official Runescape cookbook, the infernal sauce, originating from the Zamarakian Undercity. Of course, I will do this with the guidance of the official Runescape cookbook, and I will do my best to make sure that anyone who is up to follow along can do so. Check out the description for more details. The infernal sauce is based on the ultra spicy harbanerro hot sauce, with as base, of course, the harbanerro pepper, originating from Mexico. In Europe, it is a bit harder to get those, but I got my hands on a pack of dried ones. When peppers are dry, they actually end up being even more spicy, so in order to make sure it is edible, I will also make a less hot version. What excites me the most is that in the next episode I will include this amazing sauce in the second dish we'll make on this channel. This series is very experimental, so I would absolutely love your feedback in the comments. Anyway, let's get to collecting our ingredients. So we are now on our way to the grocery store. I was debating if I wanted to go there or the open market, but as I want to mention just a little bit more about its ingredients and I don't want to be a public nuisance, I decided that the grocery store would be the best place. Alright, so first of all we do need neutral oil. In Runescape there isn't really any neutral oil, but we do have olive oil. After all, Runescape isn't a cooking game. So within Runescape there is obviously onions. You can find them in the fields or by stealing, probably in the shops. But I will go with yellow onions. These onions are a bit sweeter than normal onions. There's always quite a lot of choice when it comes to tomatoes, but we need plum tomatoes specifically. Long, so they're long in shape and they're good for puree. As it's the sauce, these tomatoes are very nice. We'll need two, but I'll be making two different sauces. So I will select 4 of them. The next ingredient we'll need is a pineapple, and even though you don't really need to use it in Runescape, for the actual ingredients you do need a pineapple. They have quite an interesting shape, don't they? We'll also need lemons. Only 2 in fact, so I will go with one of them. Lemons are a bit different in where to find them. You'll find them in the gnome stronghold during the gnome drinking region. This is surprisingly also available in Runescape in the Droei village. So yeah, you can get it during Rack and Bone Man and Version C. Yeah. Alright, we got our ingredients. I really hope that the gathering didn't sound too bad in the video. Before getting to the prep phase, I quickly want to shout out Emily Lister for providing me with the Runescape 3 footage you are seeing in this video. As this is an RS3 recipe, getting accurate footage was only possible thanks to her help, so thank you so much, Emily. I personally prefer prepping everything in my room in separate containers before I go to the kitchen. After all, I do live in a dorm, so I don't really have a kitchen of my own. First of all, we want to chop up half a yellow onion. I will do an entire one because I'm making 2 sauces and put them in a separate container, as the onions will be cooked earlier in the skillet in order to soften correctly. I prefer prepping my onions by first adding a few vertical lines and then make a cut in the middle. Then we will finish it off with horizontal cuts and then we got nice onion cubes. Now that we got the onions done, we can start with filling up the bake container containing most of the ingredients. First of all, we want to stem the harbanerro peppers and cut them up. Working with strong peppers isn't something you do with any vegetable. I guess these are the reasons why you will need 666 fire and 12 lava runes in the actual game recipe. According to the seller, these peppers can irritate the skin, and I don't have to explain to you how much this can hurt if it actually were to get into your eyes. In order to mitigate the risk, I bought some latex gloves. As I could only find a smaller size, I actually had my girlfriend cut them for me instead. 4 for the original sauce and 1 for the softer version. We then peel 2 cloves of garlic and chop up 2 plum tomatoes. And then comes 4 ounces or around 115 grams of pineapple. I never really actually cut a pineapple before, so I followed this guide I found online. I'll link it in the description. And then it's time to finally cook it all up. First of all, we need to oil the skillet. Put it on a medium-high fire and wait a few minutes till it gets warm. Every fire is different. I myself was not used to mine and put my onions in a little too early, causing them to not shimmer correctly. But no worries if this happens to you. Just take them out and put the fire a bit higher and try again a bit later. According to the book, it tells you to heat the onions about 5 minutes. This really depends on a lot of factors, so don't hold it too tight onto it. If the onions are getting brown, don't wait and move on to the next step. Now that the onions are done, we can add our ingredients to the mix. Make sure to stir occasionally and potentially put the heat a bit lower if you're getting worried about things getting burning. I kept my lid on the skillet, this way things got warmer faster and it will help the sauce contain its liquid. If you notice at the end that your sauce is a bit too thick, you can always add a bit more water afterwards or even during the cooking. The recipe book tells you to put it up to 7 to 10 minutes. That worked for me. Just make sure to keep an eye on it and stir occasionally to make sure things don't get burned. While it was cooking, I spent my time preparing the ingredients that I was gonna put into the blender, more specifically getting the lime zest from the lime. I highly recommend using a grater for it, but a potato knife could also work. Now that the cooking is done, it is time to put the ingredients in the blender and merge it into an actual sauce. I actually messed up the order of the steps in my first one. This didn't make much difference in the end, but for the sake of this video, I'll use the footage from the second sauce I made, in which I did do it correctly. We will now add the lime, zest, juice, 60 milliliters of vinegar and salt to the blender. Depending on the bottle you're using and your own preference, you'll need to add some water in order to make the sauce less thick. It's hard to really give a reference on how much you should use, but I just used a bit of water, and with my pretty skinny bottle it wasn't easy but still doable to get the sauce out. Then we blend until the sauce is nice and smooth. I used a second blender to blend from the top because I feel like my blender isn't blending everything well sometimes. And with that done, you can now pour our amazing infernal sauce in a vale of choice and enjoy it with some nachos and a dish later. Just know that when you keep it for a longer time, it will actually get thicker, so keep that in mind. I won't share too much tasting in this video, because the day after making this I had the boys come over and eat the next dish I will be making on this channel with the infernal sauce with it, and it was safe to say that it definitely packed some serious punch. But anyway, that's for the next video. Thank you all so much for watching this video. It's super new to me and I work hard to improve its quality, so once again your feedback would be highly appreciated. Anyway, have a nice day everyone. Bye bye.
Oh boy.
Is it good?
It's good.
Oh yes! Alright.